What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode on EI Entertainment Studios. Back at it with another debate episode. Today's debate episode is going to be based on Godzilla Earth, or Godzilla 2017, versus Earth Anguirus. Now, if this is your first time ever watching a debate video on my channel, pretty much what this is me comparing a fantasy kaiju, a monster that does not exist, but if it were to exist, we're seeing the likelihood of what it would do against Godzilla Earth, or any other opponent that I put it up against in the debate videos. So how this debate video is going to go is, we're going to deeply analyze the main opponent, in this case, which is Earth Anguirus, and we're going to go over the backstory, the characteristics, the abilities, all that good stuff. Same for Godzilla Earth. And then we're gonna go into the fights. We're gonna put their abilities to the test, and we're gonna see which monster, if they were to fight, would become the top. So starting off with the backstory of Earth Anguirus. So this is a very long one that I came up with. I think to justify Earth Anguirus, he needed a good backstory. So Earth Anguirus is an evolved version of the regular Anguirus. It has a DNA that consists of plant origins. Its main differences are the abilities and size of this behemoth, right? It is hostile to Godzilla Earth, and its subspecies are Biollante, Orga, and the Servum. Earth Anguirus originated back in the time of Godzilla, Planet of the Monsters, when the plant race took over, and some monsters were strong enough to withstand the change, but the Anguirus family could not keep their original DNA, and was affected by this biological change, and has been seeking vengeance till this day. And I'm sorry about the gameplay, because I was trying to read and play at the same time, so please forgive me. Let me beat the crap out of Mothra right now. But hopefully you guys got it. This is the backstory of Earth Anguirus that I came up with, and I think it's pretty solid. Based on, kind of justifying of how deep this monster would have been if he were to be in the series, right? So the height of Earth Anguirus is 196 meters tall. So he's not that tall, but length of Earth Anguirus is 800 meters in length. So he's a pretty long monster. Now for the abilities of Earth Anguirus, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna skim over them, and we're gonna go over everything else, and then we'll come back to the abilities, and then I'll do a deep analysis of everything, so it'll be like a fair thing so everyone will understand, and it'll be a fair enough thing. Anyways, let's get on with it. So the abilities are as follows: Emp Shield, Scarlet Anguirus, Poison Ivy Spines, Breath of the King, Biological Dominant Swamp. Aggression levels are high on this kaiju, and Territorial, yes, and the biome is Earth. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So let's go back to the abilities of Earth Anguirus, and let's kind of analyze it, of what it truly is, and how strong this kaiju is really. So, starting off with the Emp Shield, that is the first one, and that is pretty much, it's a shield that is electrical, and then it's, not only does it cover Earth Anguirus as in to protect him, but it also shuts down anything that's electrical or anything that needs power. For example, it would shut down a plane, it would shut down a car, right? And in this case, Earth Godzilla also has an Emp Shield, so if one of them uses it before the other, it can technically shut down the other shield. That's something to consider as well. Next is Scarlet Anguirus. This is from having a plant origins and somewhat similar to Godzilla Earth. This is something that Earth Anguirus can do, and that's something very, very powerful, and it comes from the origins of nanometal. So pretty much the best way I can explain this is, if you've ever played Godzilla Save the Earth, And if you collect enough crystals, you go into something called rage mode, or it's kind of like you turn into burning Godzilla for a second. That's what it is, and that's what not only that Godzilla Earth can do, but so can Earth Anguirus. So it's kind of going into like a burning Anguirus mode. Next, I mean, it could have been better if I call it a burning Anguirus, but I guess Scarlet Anguirus sounds more original. Next is Poison Ivy Spine. So yes, he is a plant origin, and Earth and Anguirus does have spines on his back, right? So as long as he has a spine on his back, he can roll onto his opponent and try to knock him down. But not only that, he's going to be affecting the kaijus with Poison Ivy, or his opponents, right? And Poison Ivy, if you've ever been affected by it, it is not a fun thing to get hit by. Anyways, next is Breath of the King. So this is a very interesting ability. So we know that Anguirus has a breath that gives out powerful wind, right? Now this is something similar to it, kind of keeping Anguirus a little bit original to the original one, but this one is a much more powerful wind. It gives out pollen, and it blinds his opponent. The wind is much stronger. Yeah, it's wind again. It's much stronger than the original Anguirus, right? It exceeds winds over 2,000 miles per hour. But also, it could definitely knock over any monster, but also gives out pollen directed into the kaiju's eyes, which is a big, big thing. Next, we have... Let's see. Okay, this is probably the strongest ability that Godzilla, Earth Anguirus ever possess, and that is biological dominance swap. And what is that? That pretty much is this. So something, if something is biologically dominant, you actually learn this in biology. It will take in more of the nutrients. It will eat more. It will be more healthy. It will be much better off compared to other animals. So what this ability lets Earth Anguirus do is pretty much, it's going to be able to block all nutrients, all food, all power to its opponent, and it's going to start taking in all the power, and it will take in power from other monsters. So it will absorb energy from its opponents. It's such a good ability. It's such a strong ability. It is called the biological dominance swap. Alright. That's pretty much Earth Anguirus for you, summed up in a small ball. So now what we can do is we can go over Godzilla Earth. So Godzilla Earth, at the moment, right, we don't know what's gonna happen. For sure he's stronger than the legendary Godzilla. I'm not even debating on that. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens for the Toho Cinematic Universe up in 2021. But before that happens, at the moment, Godzilla Earth is the biggest, baddest Godzilla of all. He stands 300 meters tall. Massive creature, massive Godzilla. Excuse me. And just like Earth Anguirus, he does have a plant origin. And there we go, we're fighting Anguirus right there. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to go over the main abilities of Godzilla Earth. And we're going to evaluate them after this. This is the main debate is going to be based after this. So we're going to start off with the first ability that he has is, this is Godzilla Earth if you're, just to make sure. Cell Division. Also has Charged Particle Breath. What this is basically, it's like a more stronger version of an atomic breath, and it's like a bluish purple color. If you've ever seen the anime Godzilla Earth or any of the movies, it's kind of like purplish blue. Next thing he has is an Electromagnetic Pulse. Again, as I said, it's EMP, so it's something like the Earth Anguirus Shield. So it's an ability that he can use that can shut down all electricity or anything that's all like needs power, like planes, cars, EMP shields, anything that is electrical, or not electrical. I think it's power to be more. It's an electromagnetic pulse, so it's EMP. Next is an electromagnetic shield. The same thing as Earth Anguirus. It's the same exact thing. It's an EMP shield. Okay, so continuing on, he also has an electromagnetic underwater booster. He has an instant tissue regeneration. Lack of skeletal frame. Which is just really good because it's going to allow him to, you know, get into more tighter spaces, into better positions when fighting his monsters. He has a metallic tissue fiber. He has molecular management. He does have a natural camouflage, but, you know, at this point these monsters are fighting. We're not trying to, you know, get them into a point of, you know, kind of hide from each other. He does also have an oscillatory wave, which is something in the terms of, in a way, it's like saying he has a sonic blast coming out of his mouth. That's what it really is. It's a sonic blast. And the last important thing I would put is the plasma cutter. Right, it's very, very strong atomic breath ability. But anyways, now that we've gone over these two kaijus, what we can do now is we can go to the real fight, and that is what we've been waiting for. So how this is gonna go, or how I'm gonna do this, is I'm gonna do best out of two. So we're gonna range this fight from a far range and close range battle, right? Ranging from close range and far range. So in terms of this video, these monsters are going to be, for far range, 700 meters apart. Close range, face to face. Now close range is a more practical fight, so I like to keep the best to last. But in rare scenarios, we might go to overtime, and if that happens, I'll explain it. Right at the moment, it's not necessary. So far range, 700 meters apart, they're not going to get closer to each other. We're going to rate them on how these monsters would, you know, do against each other. So first of all, at the moment, you know, rating at the you know, the strongest of the fight, right now I would say Godzilla Earth has a stronger, or I would say a bit advantage over Earth Anguirus. Not only because he's taller, it's because he's king of the monsters. He has way more abilities than Earth Anguirus can possess. But not every ability that Earth Anguirus has, and not every ability that Earth Godzilla has, is really usable, right? It's not. So we're gonna trying to be realistic here. EMP Shield. So Earth Anguirus has an EMP Shield. Earth Godzilla also has an EMP Shield. So what does that mean? That means they're both going to cancel their shields out. So none of their shields are of an importance. It doesn't matter because they're both going to use it and they're both going to cancel each other out. That is the main thing here. Now both of them are going to go into rage mode to furthermore take the opponent down, and they're both going to go into Scarlet mode. And that's actually going to cancel each other out again, because it doesn't matter who is using Scarlet mode. Scarlet mode is at the end of the day the same thing, and they're just gonna hit each other. It's gonna be a big sonic blast. They're just gonna fall apart from each other. So that is of no use. It's just gonna put them back to where they were before at an equal pace. So right now there's nothing happening. So let's go down the list. Poison Ivy Spines. He's not going to use this. Earth Anguirus cannot use this because we're doing a far range battle. We're not letting him get close to each other again. So Poison Ivy Spines are of no use, and he can't even roll onto his, you know, opponent because it's of no use. Breath of the King? Yes. This is where things are going to be more interesting. Breath of the King. So when Earth Anguirus uses Breath of the King, it will knock down Godzilla Earth. Doesn't matter if he has a shield, because they cancel each other out. And they all have an EMP pulse, right? So when he does use Breath of the King, he will potentially, I'm not saying guaranteed, but he will potentially blind Godzilla Earth. But is that enough? That's not enough. But, and also, to be clear about this, you guys might be like, oh, but what about the biological dominance swap? Well, for that to actually happen, he has to keep his opponent on the ground for a while. At least 40 seconds, 50 seconds, keep him down. From the far range perspective, it's not gonna happen, guys. You know, you're putting it into perspective. The farther you get, the weaker the abilities are gonna get of the monster. So yes, the Breath of the King is definitely going to be a good ability, but it's not going to be as strong. It's strong enough from a range that far to keep the biological dominance swap in effect. So putting that in effect, in every single way, Godzilla Earth overpowers Earth Anguirus in every single way from a far range distance. So I'm gonna have to say the winner of this fight of the far range is going to be Godzilla Earth. Alright? So at the moment it is 1-0 in favor of Godzilla Earth. Now let's go into the main fight. Now this is it could be a different outcome, could be the same outcome, but it does give a much more interesting outlook on the battle, and this is close range. Putting these two monsters face to face, this is where Earth Anguirus might actually strive, right? And when he strives, that's not a good thing for Earth Godzilla. So the first thing that Earth Anguirus can do when they're face to face is, boom, he's gonna equip that EMP shield. Godzilla Earth is gonna equip the EMP shield if he sees a shield. Boom. Cancel. Again, same thing as right here. Scarlet Anguirus, Scarlet Godzilla, again, that cancels each other out in, cancels each other out in a big way. But here's where things change. This is how I believe, I'm not gonna say yet, but just listen carefully here on what I have to say here, and then let's see what you guys think. Oh, wow. So, we came to an agreement that biological dominance swamp needs for the opponent to be taken down. So there's no shield for any of them, so they're both vulnerable, right? Now, if he uses the Poison Ivy Spines with the rolling ability, well, he's going to knock Godzilla Earth down, right? He will knock Godzilla Earth down. Following that, right, with Breath of the King face to face, blinding him, right? Blinding him with Breath of the King, knocking him down with that, and with the Poison Ivy Spines, he will keep him down for at least 30-40 seconds using biological dominance swap. He will defeat Godzilla Earth. I believe Earth Anguirus can defeat Godzilla Earth at this level of abilities using them. So that puts us at a 1-1 tie. Meaning, yes, we will have to go to overtime. So overtime is kind of ranging the abilities, see how strong it is. If we weren't able to establish a winner from fighting, we're gonna rate it off of abilities. So I'm gonna go over I'm gonna go over Earth Anguirus abilities, and we'll have Godzilla Earth, and then we'll give us a winner. So starting off with Earth Anguirus, we have the EMP Shield. We have the Scarlet Anguirus. We have Poison Ivy Spines. We have Breath of the King. We have biological dominance swap. Now going for Godzilla Earth, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, has way too many abilities compared to Earth Anguirus. And if we were to, you know, go over the abilities of Godzilla Earth, it's just been repeating everything, and I'm gonna get straight to the point. I will have to give it to Godzilla Earth, especially after what happened in Godzilla Planet Eater. I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody, but it's just not gonna happen if we're gonna rate on straight abilities. It's just not possible for Earth Anguirus. So at the end of the day, overtime leads to 2-1 in favor of Godzilla Earth. But it's not over yet. If you guys, you know, are like my outcome, or maybe you have a different way of finishing it, leave in the comment section below. If you think Earth Anguirus would have won this, leave in the comment section below. And also leave requests, other debate you want to see. It doesn't have to be Godzilla monsters, it could be anything, guys. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, have a great day.